Welcome to the freewheeling cavalcade of circular motion, thus defined by the octagon table of double-wide mental introspection and dedicated utilitarian outward thinking in defense of zero content. Translation: we ain't got nothing. Oh, hey folks, dude here, yet again, an iteration of Dude After Dark. Okay, Bink, you need to go to sleep. Thank you. I figured out what the buzz was. And essentially, it is classically one of those sound things, and it's really an annoying sound thing, trust me. Literally what it is situational, unshielded stuff. So what it is essentially is basically the sound that's going through is not quote-unquote the air quotes thing, sound guy stuff, clean. And what happens is it's putting in the, the classic, the classic 60 hertz that you always hear, like, for a really ungrounded sound system. Now, the thing about it is the situational stuff that I have here is I'm literally working with, obviously, a, smartphone. I'm working with, technology where I'm streaming, obviously, to YouTube. So that technology is such that for some reason it doesn't really play well with the new tablet. Martina Sasquatch, appreciate you coming by, dude. Doesn't play well with the new tablet and using the dongle, which is essentially an adapter that then takes the USB plug and converts it via, I think it's like DMT or DTM or some aspect of technology like that, where it converts a audio signal, which is basically analog, so roughly about the same thing as what's going through your speakers, and converts that into a digital signal that it then goes, oh, okay, I can deal with this. Only problem is it, yeah, thanks, sound guy. It really just...
We told you.
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 See, you didn't listen, and we told you.
Yeah, that's sound guy's little snarky. I don't like the way that this is going from analog to digital. I don't think this is going to be a good system. So, truthfully...
Come on, squeal!
Don't want to come. Do not come.
Okay. I got it, sound guy. It was not a good setup, and it sounded like... Thanks. Yes, I know it sounded like caca. Stop. I know it sounded like caca. I don't know if it sounded like Joe caca, but it sounded like... Okay, I get it. Okay, he's getting in all the sound effects.
Ow. 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 Ow.
Okay, I don't know if it sounded like all... I don't know if it sounded like that, okay? But it did sound like... Okay, it did sound like caca. Jeez, I get it, okay? I get it. It sounded like caca. Me being maybe not so much of an audio guy as guru as, sound guy insists that he is, but it really just, it didn't sound good, okay? It really did not sound... I know, it didn't sound good. I get it, okay? Sound guy. I know it sounded bad.
You dick!
Sound guy. Right, exactly. I know. Sound guy. I know it didn't sound good. That's why I'm using another form of power input into the smartphone that is currently running this bit of YouTube craziness. as it were, for sake. Now, there was a couple things that went a little screwy on the last iteration. I was telling you guys about the cruise and all the rest of that fun stuff. I did actually have a situation where there's pictures on Facebook. You can look at them. I'm obviously in the pictures. And in all the pictures, I'm wearing a watch. Well, I'm wearing a classic 600 D as in David, A as in Adam, smart, well, not smart watch, but smart enough to be stupid and know what it's doing, okay? And it is a older, kind of unusual, not really mainstream as much, but they were around. Mainstream G-Shock watch, so stainless steel band, stainless steel body, solar, so it doesn't need to have the battery replaced so often as it has a battery being recharged by solar. It literally has solar cells, and it is also known as the atomic version. So what happens then is it literally sets itself by listening into the atomic clock. And its accuracy, I think, was like within 15 seconds per month or something, maybe a little bit better. But it would coordinate on the signal from the atomic clock and say, okay, I'm listening. What time of day is it? And it would coordinate itself to stay linked up to that and would keep itself square with the timeline. Obviously, I need to tell it daytime, daylight savings, not being inactive. I actually had to change it up, obviously, your spring forward, spring back thing. So I did actually have to tweak that and make it so it's now daylight savings time positive to the hour. Obviously, we lost an hour in that one. So anyway, did have to do that. And in the course of me doing various things on board the boat, what I normally do is I'll sit down, obviously, we'll do like the buffet or something, and I'll get my food. And I don't like to eat while wearing jewelry. I'm not wearing my wedding band. I rarely wear my wedding band. It's always on my car's keychain, but I rarely wear my wedding band. So I also really don't like to eat wearing like a watch. So what I'll normally do is I'll take my phone, I'll put it down on the table, I'll take my watch off, put that down by the phone, and I will do my various things. Well, in one of those situations, I think the napkin that I was using fell on top of my watch, or it got brushed off to the side, or somebody cleared the table and then picked it up off the table. But I left my watch behind. Well, I'm now home. The cruise left and returned back to Galveston, Texas. Texas is 3.5 hours away by plane, okay? Or 3 hours or so. But anyway, it's damn near 1,000 miles away. And I'm not going to simply just, pop in the car and get down there and go, okay, guys, where's my watch? So I got a hold of the cruise line, Lost and Found, on the boat and said, hey, I'm missing the XYZ. And they're like, okay, cool. We'll now register that in. Do you have any additional information? You could do that on the website. Do that after your cruise. Just log in, let them know the item that's missing, include a photograph of what the object actually looks like, and then we'll get on the detective side of things. And, obviously those lost and found items will find itself by the wayside, and we will get it back to you if it is found. So, cardiac theater. Eventually, I get an email saying, hey, we found your watch. Would you like to donate it? Would you like to come down and pick it up? Or would you like to have it shipped home? And I'm like, oh, yeah, here's the credit card. Ship me back my watch. So, it was supposed to hit me I think it was supposed to hit me Monday. Well, obviously today's Tuesday. So it didn't hit me on Monday, but I did have a box outside, and I have received back my watch. So, good tidings on that one. And humorously enough, I really am kind of beholden to this thing. It's been involved in actually a vehicle total accident with me, and it broke the body of the watch. So I did actually repair it using really heavy duty fishing line and some epoxy, so it's probably stronger than it was previously. And I then, of course, obviously, found the appropriate band to put on the watch. This is a while ago, and assembled my watch thusly. So it's kind of got like more than a little bit of my own bit of dude engineering on board, and it is a worker. And I really truly didn't want to simply just go, well, that's gone by the ethers. And truthfully, I'm now very, very happy yet again to have back my piece of, personal timekeeping. That it's kind of redundant. I know everybody's like, well, you can always tell the time on your phone. you got to pull it out of your pocket. If you got the watch on your person, you simply just look. And I always wear my watch inboard. Now, obviously, when I go outside, I do switch it around. That way it can gain some ability to read the sun. However, this, when I was on board the boat, was not, it was not loose. Why? Because you're on board a boat, you're surrounded by food, and you tend to eat a little bit too much. So actually what happened was, obviously being in hot surroundings, drinking. let's just keep ourselves honest here. Drinking, eating, and what have you. This got a little snug, and I made sure it was loose before I left on the cruise. But towards the end of the cruise, it was almost getting a little snug. So obviously, I did plump up my wrist quite a bit. However, I'm now back, losing weight yet again because I'm now eating the way that I normally eat. That was the other thing on board, trying to find any bit of anything with fiber. Wow, really scarce. So that was kind of a not great adventure. If you get on board a cruise ship, eat your fiber tablets, or you're going to have bathroom issues. And that's not going to be something I get into with too much depth and breadth, but let's just say, ew. Bidet is not optional. Look at the room, Patron Favors here. Greetings, dude. Also watching spiny, spirally, twister type things locally. So, oh, dude. Oh, wow. Okay. Hopefully that shoots on past you and you do not deal with the spirally, twisty, kind of not good things. Wow, dude. Good luck on that one. Hopefully it shoots past and nobody is affected, because those things are bad. Anyway, so now I've got my watch back. Everything's good in the hood yet again. I have to actually jump over to the old new laptop and obviously scroll through to see what I have in there. I actually also need to check on my emails, because sometimes it's a fount of knowledge for, things that you're dealing with. Case in point, Mrs. Dude and I actually have been dealing with another issue literally before we left out. And this is kind of like the whole, tragedy of errors all occurring in one fell swoop. So Mrs. Dude and I decided that we were going to deal with a situation. We have a couple of elder vehicles that are pretty much not doing so good. And one of them was being operated by my niece. And we were kind of keeping it going, nickel and diming. The only downside, of course, is anytime you start tackling the problem of propping something up that's old, you have all the intended issues. And the other major thing is, of course, age. Age is the great equalizer with vehicles. That's just all there is to it. Now, if you know about my fleet of vehicles, it is all Hondas. I've been running Hondas for the longest period in time, and pretty much that's what we do. We utilize Hondas. We've received very, very good service from them. And like any vehicle, obviously, it is going to have its situation where it ages out. Well, like I said, essentially, the two elder vehicles, they're old. And I do mean old. So that's the situation on that one. Way in which we find ourselves. Hang on a second here. I need to cheat things real fast. Hang on a second here. Let me cheat something real quick. I think I could just do this like a screenshot and make it work. So let's just me cheat this as a screenshot. That way I'm not showing everybody way too much stuff that I really truly don't want to do. So let me do that. Let me do this. Go here. Let's go here. This. Okay. So, like I was saying, the elder vehicles were kind of getting not so great in the age. Obviously, things are going wrong. Pretty much you have a well in which you're throwing in way too much funds to keep it up and running. In our fleet, we have the gray 2016 EXL, so that's an upper range, mid-range, which has leather interior, sunroof, power back door, and we have the EX, which are currently in our fleet. So we have a gray EXL, and we have a white EX. So the EX is what I'm currently using for Uber. Has cloth interior, no sunroof, no power back door. they're really close in terms of trim level. I mean, really, you can park the two side by side, and the only way you really tell the difference between an EX and an EXL is the EXL has darker back windows because they put additional tint on the rear passenger window and the back side window. Those have additional tinting, so they're darker. Well, anyway, those two elder vehicles, they're going to be going by the wayside, and we decided to add another one to our fleet. So what did we do? We bought yet another 2016 Honda Pilot. So we now have two EXLs and one EX. So this one was really, in terms of age, it was pretty young. I mean, we looked at this thing, it was a 2016, obviously, you know, a couple of years after buying our last two 2016s, and the price had dropped accordingly. The major reason why we jumped on this thing was the mileage was only 80,000 miles. So, 10-year-old vehicle, 80,000 miles, 8,000 miles a year, that's half of national average, or it's about 125 miles a week. That is way, oh, okay, maybe a little bit more than that, but maybe 400 or 500 miles a week. But still, way doable. And the length, depth, and breadth, essentially, as we looked at the financials, and it's like, okay, if we buy a CRV, CRVs really are not cheap, man, and the prices really haven't dropped much. And the thing about it is also the Honda Pilot also is like, the Honda Pilot, the Passport, and the Ridgeline are the last three Honda vehicles that are made with what's referred to as a traditional transmission or a actual transmission with gear ranges. So it's either got 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. So that many amount of air quotes gears as opposed to a CVT or a constant velocity transmission or a constant variable transmission, which is essentially about the same thing as like a snowmobile. So essentially what you have in those is these two discs, and they're roughly shaped kind of like, you know, wedges. And what happens is there's two of those. In between those is a steel / band. So basically, for all intents and purposes, a smooth chain. So what happens is as the car is being driven, the two discs tighten upon themselves and push the belt out. By pushing the belt out, it changes the gear ratio, and it is infinitely variable between the lowest gear and the highest gear. So anywhere in between there, it is actually directly engaged. Now, the thing about it is if you drive these things, it's like driving a stick shift car with a bad clutch uphill. It's like you stand on it, it just kind of goes, and it just holds this medium-high RPM that for a driver feels like everything is going wrong. So it's holding like, say, about 3,500 to 3,800 RPM. You see the speedometer obviously tracking up, so it's accelerating, but it just doesn't go, you know, traditionally where you feel it running gears, it does not do that. Now, artificially, some people complain about that, going, yeah, it's got no snap to it, it's got no real feel that I've accustomed myself to. It doesn't feel like a traditional transmission. It feels like something is going wrong. See 1 second here. So they've actually reprogrammed these transmissions to some degree and gave them, you know, this is going to be air quote moment, air quote virtual gears, where it goes, So it artificially intimates that it's going from first gear to second gear to third gear to fourth gear to fifth gear, finally kicking into overdrive. Now, there's a dirty little secret about most automatic transmissions, the newer ones at least, that have what's referred to as a lockup torque converter. So if you look at your standard car with a traditional transmission, it basically runs the gears, it hits the high gear, and that's where it sits. And it'll float quite a bit because the transmission actually doesn't directly lock up like a manual transmission where it's locked on with the clutch. There's no slip, usually, unless the clutch is going bad. So with a newer style traditional transmission, you run the gears. So say it's got a 6-speed transmission. It'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It'll be in top gear. And then once you're in top gear, it goes, okay, you're cruising now. I don't need to let this thing slip a couple hundred RPM to gain speed or reduce speed. You're now running a steady speed, and it locks up the torque converter. So technically, If you look at the tachometer of a traditional transmission with a lockup torque converter, it'll go until finally you're cruising. It'll be in sixth gear, and it'll probably go down, probably about like, somewhere between like 17 to 2100 RPM. It'll be cruising, and it'll go and it'll drop down that last 150 RPM when the torque converter locks up. So technically, a 6-speed transmission is actually a 7-speed transmission. But they don't count it like that because locking up the torque converter doesn't count as an actual physical gear. It just counts as the transmission finally locking up turn for turn, spinning the engine, spinning the transmission with no slip in between to give smoothest between the operation of the transmission and the operation of the engine. They're now locked together, maintaining a steady rate of speed. And if you set the cruise control and you're on the flat, it'll stay put until such time as you roll on the throttle to do a lane change, or you turn off the cruise control or tap the brake to slow the car down. It'll stay locked up in that torque converter. And essentially, it does roughly about the same thing as a manual transmission. It is locked solid. It's not slipping. Now, the thing about it is with the CVTs, they never really truly lock up. They're always slipping to some degree, and that is a point of wear. If you maintain a CVT, supposedly the Honda and the Toyota CVTs are much better than the Nissan CVTs. However, I am kind of a traditionalist. Call me a Luddite. I want a transmission with actual physical, air quotes, gears. And that's one of the things about, Honda transmissions is they actually do have gears. That's one of those carryovers that Honda's been actually very strident about. Is they're like, yeah, we're going to make it an automatic transmission, but it's still going to have aspects to a manual transmission because we don't want so many things to go kablooey, kind of like other people's transmissions, which have way too much fluid sloshing around, trying to make things do that they, do the things that an automatic transmission does. So, kind of a little bit of a carryover on that one, kind of a little bit of a tangential thing. I'm not looking at the time. I've obviously been raving on about all these various things, but that's where we are with that one. And so, case in point, I literally now have a new car and my watch back. So life events, dude, that's where we are with that one. So let me look over here real fast. I gotta literally scroll through way too much stuff. And the thing about it is Facebook is absolutely horrendous for rendering store. It's just bad at storing stuff. Then when you try to look things up, you're going, where was the so-and-so that I was talking about or looking at or this, that, and the other thing, and try to reference, and it's really not the easiest. So, let me scroll down here. Okay, I gotta run it back to that date. I don't really have that much. I've been putting a ton of memes up, but I really truly don't have the as much news sourcing on Facebook as other places. Scrolly. I really don't want to get into too much of the Iranian stuff. However, let's just say that they relied on Chinesium military technology, and it failed miserably. And it failed so miserably on the world stage that the Iranians are like, you sold us crap. And the Chinese are like, oh, no, you didn't use it right. Our stuff is amazing. And the Russians are looking over going, you sold them junk. And the Chinese are like, no, they didn't use it right. It's like, no, you sold them junk, okay? It's not good technology. Those things that you sent up to try to stop the stuff incoming didn't work. Those things that you tried to send up to make, harassment to the other guys obviously got stopped. You really didn't do a whole heck of a lot of offensive things. Now, unfortunately, it was a lucky hit that really a lucky hit that nailed 6 of our guys at once. That was a luck shot, okay? That wasn't like something where, the Iranians are like, we know this gathering of Americans, and we could just really make a lot of hurt on them. All we got to do is just set up one device, put it over here. We know there's a crowd of them. That was really, truly just a lucky shot. Now, unfortunately, we did lose one more, but if you're thinking about the amount of combat activity that's taken place for only and I don't lightly say it, but only losing 7 U.S. service personnel, that is bloody phenomenal. And I truly do not look at this short-sightedly to say, well, it was only 7. Yeah, we've had way worse times than that one. And no, no, no. Those people that gave the ultimate sacrifice, I give the highest honors and remembrance to, and I do not short sale their lives and their personal sacrifices. However, the amount of good that's coming from their passing and their ultimate sacrifice in the liberty and liberation for a foreign nation that's been so held under by its own diabolical bad guys, that's an amazing feather in your cap to say. I mean, I hope they have the highest honors and full military, accreditation therein of their sacrifices, and I cannot commend them higher, but to toast them thusly to absent companions. So let's see. Scrolly. Scroll. The one-eyed rhino is getting tossed. As soon as this guy got elected, I heard him actually start talking about the fact that, well, I was formerly a SEAL, but now I'm a rhino. I had absolutely zero respect for the man, and he is basically a John McCain-style rhino of the highest order. Dan Crenshaw, you will not be missed. You, sir, need to go bye-bye. You are a rhino. Scrolly. This one's actually kind of cool. So, a submarine engaged something from Iran. A submarine, like one of those classic World War II, submarine hunting down the other boat type of things and knocking it down using torpedoes and whatnot. So this one's coming in from infantry at infantry Dort, D-O-R-T, and it's obviously a Twitter account. And it says, the submarine combat patrol insignia hasn't been issued since the Korean War from what I'm tracking. Probably because ship-to-ship kills are so rare. We may need to dust this one off for the squids. Read the Navy, guys, and I say that fondly. It's a submariner's rough equivalent to a CIB or a combat infantry badge. Translation, you were there, you did the stuff, and you made it flippin' happen. And he tagged in there, at Pete Hegseth. And the badge itself is actually kind of cool looking. It's a World War II style submarine, and it has stars underneath it to show combat activity. So I hope every one of those sailors that is on that sub that engaged the Iranian boat, slap that sucker on your billboard, dude. You righteously deserve it. Let's see. Scrolly. This one is kind of one of those truly suck-ass ones. And I hate cancer. Absolutely. I've lost too many good people from it. Family members, associated good guys, famous persons that I really truly ascribed great respect to. However, it has now been announced that Bruce Campbell, the guy from, the Evil Dead series and all that good stuff, made it known on March 2 that he's dealing with a cancer diagnosis. It's described as treatable, but incurable. So essentially, hopefully they can knock it down. He'll be around for quite a bit longer, but they're never, ever going to get rid of it. So as outlined in his public announcement, Campbell will scale back professional engagements and convention appearances to undergo treatment, anticipating a return to activity with a promotional tour for his new film, Ernie and Emma, in the fall of 2026. In a message to his supporters, Campbell wrote, quote, "Fear not, I am a tough old SOB and I have great support, so I expect to be around a while." So, extending best wishes to Bruce Campbell at this time. That was from the Horror Museum posting it up. I think he actually kind of picks those kind of fun roles where he pops up and you're like, oh, yeah, dude, yeah. Like he was in one of the Doctor Strange movies playing like a pizza vendor at some other world in the, what the heck did they call that? The multiverse. He was on another air quotes Earth. And he played a pizza vendor. And what happened was is he's like, hey, you didn't buy that. You owe Pizza Papa. Pizza Papa always gets paid. So what Doctor Strange did was he put a spell on him for him to keep beating himself up. And the girl that's with Doctor Strange is like, how long is that going to last? He goes, it'll probably wear off in about 2 weeks. So the movie plays, you have the movie credits, and then you have the outro. And you see Bruce Campbell going, oh, 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 I think it's over. Yay! So you get the last couple licks in on the outro, and that was the end of the movie. I thought it was really funny, though. I mean, he maybe had like maybe 2 or 3 minutes in the movie, but I think what it is the Doctor Strange movie, I think, was actually directed by one of his buddies, and that's why he got the end where he's like, hey, Bruce, you want to play Pizza Popper? It's like, oh, who's Pizza Popper? It's like, oh, he's a street vendor that beats himself up. And he's like, oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, let's do that. Doctor Strange puts a spell on you and you beat yourself up. Sure, yeah, that sounds like fun. And obviously, it's probably not something that made, great amounts of money, but I'm sure it was fun for everybody involved, especially Bruce. He's like, yeah, sure, I'll beat myself up on camera. That's hilarious. So anyway, I wish him the best, good healing, all the good stuff like that there. And I hope he's around for quite a bit longer because I've always enjoyed his work. Scrolly. This one is completely bleeding amazing. And I would not even have thought of this one, but this is something only Donald Trump would come up with in his unbelievably fractured way of thinking about things in 4D chess. So, you have the Straits of Hormuz. And the Straits of Hormuz is literally the area where 1/5 of the world's oil travels. Going in from, obviously, the oil-rich nations, going out to other places. Just kidding, noses bug me. Got all kinds of, big oil carriers going to and fro, what have you. All the rest of that's happy horse stuff. And it is a not big enough area to say, well, it's like the wide open ocean. We really are pretty much safe by simply just hauling balls and going somewhere else where we really don't have to worry about the bad guys because we'll see them coming from way, way, way far away, and we can call in for help, and the other people will be able to respond in time. Now, the boats obviously need to carry insurance. Pirates or obviously foreign nations taking them down or accidents or, all manner of things happening. You're riding, tens of thousands of tons of oil, gas, diesel, jet fuel, anything can happen. So, they carry a lot of insurance. Who's the insurance place that is big enough to carry that kind of number? Well, it's obviously going to be something along the lines of like Lloyd's of London. Lloyd's of London is an absolutely massive insurance company. How big are they? Well, they are such an amazingly large enterprise that they generate somewhere between 2 to 3%. Mind you, 2 to 3% of the GDP of the British Isles of the UK. So, if you think about that, that is a huge freaking number. Not just a little bit, but a huge freaking number. For something to be 2 to 3% of the United States would be absolutely massive. This is only the insurance policies for the ships operating in the Straits or Hormuz. Wow. And so the thing about it is there's so much cash being exchanged back and forth. We'll make sure our boats are covered. Make sure that if something happens, we're covered. All the happy horse stuff along those lines. And the thing about it is that's been going on forever. So, what Trump did is Trump said, look, I am going to have the U.S. Navy play, air quotes, mercenary, and we will be shadowing your boats and ensuring they travel safely in the Straits of Hormuz. Now, by doing that, Trump just ran all around Lloyd's of London and pretty much evaporated all their income. Because all the countries now can go, well, let's see. The United States has a big honking navy. Lloyd's of London has no navy. The Brits say that they can protect our stuff. Could they really protect our stuff? I'm going to probably side with Trump because Trump doesn't play games, and these guys now know he means business after looking at Iran and what's happened there. Excuse me a second, I got something bugging me. Anyway, so length up the brother, which we're looking at here, is essentially now the United States will be the protector of the ships in the Hormuz, and saying we're now your new insurance agent. Like a good neighbor, Donald Trump is there. So they've lost. I've heard it was 3%, but it's possibly 2%. But still, Lloyd's of London is done. Duck. Wow. So let's see. The viral this so it's like a 21-mile area that is the problem child. Well, you send in enough Navy boats, they can protect 21 miles pretty dang easily. When you start thinking about the sheer range of our devices, yipes, you're talking most missile systems probably have an excess of 5 to 600 miles range. I mean, a 5-inch gun has like a 6-mile range, and that's coming off of like the which one is that one? There's two destroyers we have. Oh, the Arleigh Burke. That's what it is. The Arleigh Burke and the other tumble down one, the Zumwaltz. So between the Arleigh Burke destroyer class and the Zumwaltz class, they have 5-inch guns on board, and they shoot somewhere between 16 to 20 rounds per minute. Bunk, 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 and every single round is going like 5 or 6 miles. To put it in perspective, the projectile size of a 5-inch gun, you're basically shooting a transmission at somebody. A small transmission. You're shooting a small transmission at somebody from 5 or 6 miles away. So that's only a quarter of the 21 miles. I think they got it covered pretty well. No, that's not even including the fact that they have attack helicopters on board. Obviously, they got brown water landing vessels on some of these boats. There's like a whole flotilla of stuff. Obviously, aircraft carriers and, attack helicopters and fighter jets. And I think the boats are going to be just fine. And I think anybody trying to cause trouble in Hormuz is really, truly going to regret their, well, let's just try to see what happens if we do this. They're going to definitely FAFO, and it's not going to be pretty. Scrolly. I'm not going to read about that guy. You hear enough of these stupid guys doing stupid stuff. Scrolly. I cannot begin to tell you how much this is cracking me up when these guys go, well, Trump was this, that, and the other thing back in the day, and he's not like that. It's like, if you do some research, there's a video that's coming up from the early 1980s where a younger Donald Trump is talking about what he thinks is the issue and what needs to have happen to Iran during the Iran hostage crisis back just before I went into the U.S. Marine Corps. Wow, it is such a amazing time capsule to see the guy really hasn't changed. And he was up on board on all this stuff and going, yeah, this is going to be an issue. We need to address this right now. And the way that they did it was not the way that I would do it. So, long view on these things, and obviously Trump being on board with these things, he said to himself, this is the way I would handle it if I was in charge, even back then. So, all those plans have been kind of like clicking in the brain pan, and he's been prepared for what is he going to do when he's running things, and how is he going to approach the problems, and how is he going to address the issues at the time. Let's see. Scrolly. Looking in the room. Martin Higgins, 4216. Appreciate you hanging out, dude. I'm going to tell you what, Martin, you better cool your jets, dude, or you're going to get tossed. Because I don't play that kind of stuff in the chat room, okay? So right now, you're going to get put in a timeout, and I will let you know what you do further, okay? That you're not going to play that kind of stuff right now, all right? You're not going to do that in my chat room. Let's see. Scrolly. Say bye-bye to that. And hang on a second here. Say bye-bye to that. Say bye-bye to that one too. But yeah, dude, you know, if you're being obnoxious, Martin Higgins, 42-16, you're gonna get tossed. Okay? Right now you're only in a timeout. But I'm gonna tell you what, dude, if you come back into my room and you start playing those games again, you're gonna get banned. Okay? I do not play obnoxious games in a chat room, and I will toss you. And I'm gonna out you, and I'm gonna toss you. Okay? Do not play that game in my room. Let's see here. So, scrolly. Yeah, Martina Sasquatch said Mark 48 is it's not even playing, man. 20 mic and 5-inch stuff, it is really not playing. The big thing though is that, you know, Martina Sasquatch, you want stand off, okay? You don't want to play like back in the good old days where the Pirates of the Caribbean thing, where you run broadsides on each other from point blank distance. That's not how you do ship combat. The way you do ship combat nowadays is you have a guy flying around going, okay, that's a target. He just popped a few rounds at me. I'm out of here. That's a bad guy. The ship goes, okay, designate target. Target's designated. Target's not been designated. The ship sends off a missile. That boat ceases to exist. It's now floating on the bottom. Let's see. Scrolly. State Farm. Patriot Fever, State Farm. Yeah. Anyway. Let's see. Is that Terravid used? Yeah, that is a Gadsden flag. That is definitely a Gadsden flag. I've been flying that one for the longest time on my podcast. Yeah. Best friend, S.E. Asoki, or no, I'm not good with the agent stuff sometimes. Yeah, the trolls are not winning. They are definitely going to get tossed, okay? Don't even worry about that one, best friend. I do not tolerate trolls, okay? If you guys come in here and you're trying to make trouble, you're, one, going to get timeout. Two, you're gonna get banned, all right? I'm not even gonna play games. And if you come back under another name and you start raising, you know, mayhem yet again, bye-bye, okay? You're gonna get outed, you're gonna get timeout, and then you're gonna get banned, okay? I don't play troll games. Trust me, back in the good old days when I was dealing with a group of guys called themselves the Hyenas, I literally got like 20 of their channels tossed off of YouTube. Don't play with me. You won't last, okay? You really won't last. I am not that guy. Believe that. Let's see. Scrolly. This one is completely badass. The A-10 Warthog. It's still in the fight. They haven't gotten rid of it. Oh, no. Fiscal year 2026 National Defense Authorization Act prohibited the U.S. Air Force from replacing the A-10 inventory below 103 aircraft and require at least 93 primary mission aircraft through the end of September 26. Still flying, still fighting, still kicking major tail feathers. It is the tank of the sky, and you can shoot about half that plane off, and it'll still get the pilot home safe. And be rebuildable. It is literally all that. Believe that. The A-10 is still a badass bird. With the power of the... Yeah, those incoming rounds from that thing is just daunting. Anybody else designs a plane, they design a plane and go, okay, we'll put these guns on board. They built the gun and said, hey, let's build a plane around the gun. That's the A-10 Warthog. It literally is a flying Gatling gun. This one's completely cool. I was talking to my friend in Australia about it. Qantas is now kicking around the idea of coming up with a plane with increased fuel capacity to do 20-hour flights from the United States direct to either Perth on the west coast or Sydney on the east coast of Australia. Now, it's a 20-hour flight, but what they've done is in this plane, they've actually figured out things to make it better to be on board for all 20 hours. Is they've actually figured out like lighting schemes. So basically you're playing with the circadian rhythms of the people on board. Obviously there's walk around areas. Obviously there's lounge areas. So they're kind of coming full circle. If you look back at the good old days, like the late 60s, early 70s when the jumbo jet was coming into play, They literally were comfortable to fly on. So that's what they're thinking about doing this one on this plane, is they're going to have, like, you walk into an area, what looks like almost like a 7-Eleven refrigerated cabinet. You can open it up and free eats and whatnot. And all these things are kind of like playing into the fact that you're being planted in your seat for 20 hours is grudging, bloody misery. You want more than just sitting in a seat for 20 hours going, oh, let me see what's on the computer. Let me see what's on the entertainment. Oh, I watch that. Bored to tears. Oh, I can't go to the restroom again because I don't need to go, but I do want to get up and stretch my legs. You need more than that. So it's kind of an experiment, and they're thinking about doing it with 20 planes, and they're going to be doing it in such a way that it's going to be uniquely, completely on its own. It's not going to be something that's going to be contrasting with like Singapore or Emirates or any of those other guys that do these really extremely long flights, but they're doing like extremely long flights that are specifically predisposed to a very unique style of air travel to Australia. Kind of cool. Kind of really cool. Let's see. Scrolly. I don't know if I really want to do this one, but let's just say there's more Chinese stories of Chinese Temu products failing the Iranians. that's about as polite as I can make it, okay? I really, truly don't want to get into this. But I do want to get into this component. Let's just say that every time Iran puts up a new supreme leader, the Israelis go, okay, we now know it's this guy. And they are knocking him down like bowling pins. Including the latest guy who is Mojtabi Khomeini, who reportedly was installed as the new Grand High, whatever it wish you would call the thing, was stuck in as the guy running things. So he's the son of the late Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, or it's the new supreme leader following his father's diet in U.S.-Israeli airstrikes, which opened the ongoing war. So they stuck him in there, and the Israelis were like, yeah, that's nice. That's really, really nice. We got an idea what's going on here, and we know who this guy is. And the thing about it is we know who he is, and we're going to say hello. We're going to send over somebody to say hi, and it's going to be... Yeah, good airtime, dude. So anyway, that guy was literally seen as, hey, buddy, how you doing? And got, yeah, he got really big time. So, I don't know how much he bounced, sound guy. Was that a second or third bounce? I don't know. Anyway, so he became the guy. And then, well... Okay, I think you did that one backwards. He first, hang on. He went which way? Right. And then, there you go. That's what happened. That's what happened to the Khomeini guy. He bounced for. he got some good air time and then he bounced. Okay, I think we got it. Okay, I think we got it. So anyway, him.
And thing sucks.
Dude, really? I think we got it. Okay. Anyway, it wasn't like he was around water, okay? No. Let's see. So, unverified sources claim and circulate that he suffered severe injuries from an earlier Israeli strike, including amputation of one leg, and remains unaware of his appointment near the crisis. Dude's probably jacked up on all kinds of medication, going, I'm missing body parts. This is really kind of painful. Okay, I don't know about that part, but all right. Anyway, so he's really just having a bad day. Okay.
This is my boomstick!
I don't know if it was a boom stick sound guy. I think it was something a little bit, yeah, a little bit more like that, okay? So he's having not a good hair day, and that's putting it politely. Let's see. 810's cool. We had them back in the 101st. Absolutely, man. Now, the cool part about it is I am actually a Baltimore, Maryland resident. Next to me is the Maryland Air National Guard, and they just literally went to Hagerstown because they've been decommed. But I had A-10 Warthogs as my next door neighbor at the Martins Air Force area. So that was kind of cool. Every once in a while I'd be coming home or I'd be looking out, and I'd have A-10 Warthogs doing a sortie flying around. And they're cool. They're cool birds, man. It's a flying tank. They're just badasses. Titan Legacy, do I support Israel or no? Well, let me put it like this. I'm Jewish, okay? I actually happen to be very stridently Zionist. So yes, I do support Israel. And that's putting it mildly. I'm proud to say Am Yisrael Chai. So basically the Jewish people live, which is one of their anthems. So yes, Am Yisrael Chai. Sound guy's been waiting for that one for how many weeks? Yes, he has. Yes, he has. Oh, man. Devil Dog. Okay, Devil Dog, I do have one question for you. Are you a Hollywood Marine or are you a Carolina Marine? Because I happen to be a Carolina Marine. I hit the Yellow Footsteps in 1986. Which way did you go? Let's see. Sound guys been waiting for that one. That's just funny, dude. To me, that just makes it all worthwhile. Sound guy just getting his jollies and playing with stuff and yeah. Really, sound guy. Really. Okay, I don't think it takes that long to ricochet, dude. Okay, one bullet does not ricochet that much, okay? No, it does not. It does not ricochet that much. Stop that. Oh, jeez. All right, anyway, sound guy's upstairs doing practice. What are you doing? I told you to be careful. You're not listening. Anyway, OJ Simpson 32. Hello. Okay. Hey, how you doing? So yeah. Still owes a trip back to basic for getting semi-auto and submachine gun machines. Yeah, yes he does. Yes he does. He's just not doing it correctly. Wow. He's not doing it well. Anyway, what else you got going on here? Oh, stop that! You always play the sucky machine gun. Okay, that was a MAC-10.
How about that? Those 32 slugs came out in a second and a half. You ever see anything like it? You're not going to take it, are you?
Just say it's a loan.
Lon, it's not licensed.
Jack,
Yeah, neither am
neither
I.
am I.
Yeah, he ripped that one off of the McHugh movie with John Wayne. But yeah. Okay, that was a MAC-10 running all 32 slugs. Let's see. I look like a Democrat. Okay, I don't know about looking like a Democrat, but that's not going to happen, dude. Okay? Like I told the other guys, you're not going to be doing that. That's not going to happen, okay? Let's see. Give me 1 second, folks. Yeah, say bye-bye, dude. You're not playing that again, OJ. You're not playing that one again. You're gone. Patriot Fever, dude. It's not your fault, but I love when trolls come in. Okay, let's just make this pointedly obvious. I love when trolls come in. That way, I get to go, buddy. I got this itch right here. It's just such a profound itch. Oh. And actually, OJ, you're actually technically correct because I actually am a Democrat in the state of Maryland. Why? Because I could screw with them in the primary and I could screw with them in the main election. Okay? But I am no Democrat. Let's get that very plain and simple. I'm a gun-owning Zionist that is not a pushover. Believe that. Duke and crew, please wish me luck and good things. I drive 786 to my new home next Tuesday. Sasquatch, hit me with a text message, dude. I got something I want to ask you, okay? So I'll catch you on the devices. So hit me with a text, okay? Let's see. Scroll. And yes, good luck on your road sojourn, as it were. Let's see. Scrolly. Top notch. Let's see. Scrolly. Yeah, I get this one, and this one really truly makes me laugh sometimes. The guys who are riding this gas price thing going, oh my goodness, gas prices are going up. It's going to be so hard for the American consumer. Okay. Joe Biden ran the prices up. I remember gas prices towing $5 a gallon, okay? This was a mere speed bump on the pricing of petrochemicals for Trump to take Iran out of the mix, okay? This was literally all in massive destruction of such, light, death, and breath that the guys were just like, holy Allah, we were not planning for this to be to this degree. That's what happened with that one. So the profiteers were like, hey man, Trump's going to screw this one up. I can ride these high gas prices like a mofo. I'm going to be making money hand over fist. Slight problem. If even the world guys see that the thing basically goes, and it's a little speed bump as opposed to this long, drawn out, oh no, the strategic reserves are being exhausted. We need to refill those. Oh, gas prices are going up because they're shutting down refineries. Oh, no. Oh, they're making it harder for all these companies to function in the states that they should have been in because that's where gas is. That's not happening because Trump is also making it easier for these guys to pull the stuff out of the ground, refine the stuff, and saying, look, if you want to make investments, I'm not going to stand in your way. Proceed. So, while it was a little speed bump, I think the gas in my state maybe went up 35, 40 cents or something. And that was pretty much on the low, and I do mean the low end of the little bittiest bump we got from Biden. It was more like, okay, that was a change in elevation from going from all the way up to where we wound up, which was just bloody damn ridiculous, okay? So gas prices are now recorrecting, and the profiteers got not what they were expecting. So when you have a combat that flips over this fast, that's different, okay? That's not something that's this long, protracted rhino, neocon, I hate that phrase, neocon expanded universe thing where everything just gets long and drawn out and it takes forever for it to correct. That's different, okay? So completely different animal, and you're going to see gas prices coming back down, and as if they're not already, they're coming back down, okay? So don't even worry about that one. Your gas pumps will correct, and obviously your gas bills will be back to where they were. Slight little speed bump. Unfortunately, because of my day gig, I got to buy gas, okay? I mean, I'll put it in perspective. Last year, I spent probably in excess of $8,000 in fuel doing Uber, okay? A couple years before that, running an older car, I spent $10,000 in fuel, okay? When you start throwing that kind of money out the tailpipe, you get to really, really, truly not care about what the gas pump says. You're simply just looking at what are my yearly weeklies, what do my numbers need to be to balance this stuff out. And that's the kind of thing you worry about is the big picture. Not some little, oh, it just went up 27 cents. How am I going to afford this now? Oh, geez, calamity. It's completely a different flipping animal, okay? That's not the same thing as what we've been experiencing with previous administrations, because this is a speed bump, not an Everest climb, okay? Completely different. Don't even worry about it. Stuff's going to get better. Believe, okay? Just have faith. Have faith. Okay? Let's see. Anything else going on here? Oh, okay. We've come up on the 1 hour time period. All right. So I'm going to catch you guys later. I appreciate your kind attention. You guys hanging out with me. You got many other choices over the course of a Tuesday, but you decided to hang out with me, and I truly appreciate your kind attention. I will catch you guys next week. Good stuff like that there, and I will see you then. Get a gold star for attendance. All right. Catch you guys next week. Have a good one. I will see you next time, and I appreciate all your kind attentions. Those troll type guys, bring it on. Bring it on. I'm waiting for you. Catch you guys later. Have a good one. So, Equal Ring as always, you know what, you love it. I will see you guys next week. Unless I put out something sooner, I will see you then. Catch you guys.